Record to the cloud. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Hey guys, it is a little bit after 9 o'clock on March the 17th, and it's really my privilege and honor to be here with everybody on this Sunday night. And I know how precious time is, so I tried to condense. I'm going to try to condense everything. And I saw this the other day, and I had to share it with everybody, right? A dream written down with a date becomes a goal, right? A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan backed by action becomes reality. And so what I wanted to do tonight was just give you kind of, some steps, right? Steps to get where hopefully you want to go. And so let's see about getting this thing to move. Right, good. The first step with VALENTUS is getting from where you're at to the next rank, getting from Ruby, right, to Emerald. So that's kind of the step that I put in here, right? The first step, obviously, in getting to Emerald is that you've got to have 5,000 volume on both teams, the left team and the right team. Your enroller can make up 90% of the volume on your enroller's leg, right? Only 500 of that, or 10%, has got to be your personal enrollment volume. So you've always got to be thinking and building, although you're going to focus on one leg, you're going to occasionally work on that other leg, because you've got to have volume constantly going into that other leg, and that other leg has got to grow, because you've got to grow from 500 to 1,500 to 2,500 to 10,000 as you begin to rank up. So it's always great to keep that in the back of your mind. And what creates the volume? Business builder packages, right? Business builder packages, 400 BV. Ruby loyalty purchases, 100 BV. Happens every month, right? And so those are the two numbers that kind of make up all of the volume. So now all you got to do is do the math. What do you need to do 5,000 in volume on your team? You'll probably have 5,000 or more on your enrollers team, but you've got now to figure out what it's going to take. If you enroll 3 business builder packages, right? 3 people that purchase a business builder pack, you've got 1,200 business volume in the course of that month. If they go out, and this is again back to the duplication, right? If you will sit with those people and help them get engaged and acclimated to what they need to do, and I'm going to give you those steps, and you help them enroll 3, now you've got 36, 12, 4,800, right? 4,800. So you're darn close. A couple of more $100 loyalty purchases and you're golden, right? You've got 5,000 in the bank. So just keep that 3 who get 3, who get 3, who get 3, and if we can do that, if we can duplicate that very simple model, your business will absolutely explode. You wouldn't ever have to do much more than 3. So step 1, buy the business builder package. There's no other way to do it. If you're going to maximize the compensation plan, that's the only way you can do that. Buy the business builder package. And why do you want to do that? You want to do that so that you get samples. The best way to encourage, to have people join you is let them try the product. I had a buddy of mine in California that I sent some product to, and he said, you know what? 30 minutes after he drank his first cup, he knew something was happening. 30 minutes after he drank his first cup, he knew something was going on, right? He started losing his appetite. He started getting more energy. And he says, wow, this stuff is amazing, He called me. We finally we played phone tag for a couple of days, but we finally had a good talk today. And obviously he's joining me. He's, he loves network marketing, made a lot of money. in a number of companies, and so it's really great to have him come aboard. But divide your 350 samples into 58 packages. Hey, if you had that all done, you got all that done, you got covers, letters, you're starting to talk to people, sell or give those sample packages out to 58 people as quickly as possible, right? So, be thinking about that. And here's the math, right? If you do simple math, 58 sample packs, $20, $1,160, right? You got a net profit of $661. So, that's, now, I don't know about my friends. My friends were, maybe I was too giving, or maybe they just expected me to give them to them. But my friends wouldn't allow me to sell them to them. I'm sorry, But I can see where in the cold market situation, if you're going to your mom or somebody, you're probably not going to be able to get 20 bucks out of her. But probably, a lot of people you'll be able to. And guys, there are people doing this and doing one business builder pack after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next. So certainly with 58 people in play, that's a lot of people in play if you're going to take them through the process the way that you should be taking them through the process. And that is, everybody you enroll, that you pre-enroll, that gets a sample pack. So if you give a sample pack away, you sell a sample pack, you've got to get those people engaged. And again, I do it very, very simply, because I just ask the question. The initial questions I ask is, hey, do you drink coffee? I want to know if you drink coffee. Yeah, I do, Chuck. Well, hey, have you ever thought about losing any weight? Or anybody that wants to lose any weight? And they go, yeah, of course, me, right? I want to lose some weight. Why? Why are you asking me, why do I drink coffee and if I'm fat? And I said, well, the reason I asked was that our company just launched a brand new, amazing weight loss coffee. Can you believe that? A weight loss coffee. And I started drinking it, and I lost 9 pounds the first week. I lost 18 pounds the first month. And you just got to try it. That's the conversation that I have with almost everybody every day. I was at the bank the other day, and the gal that happened to be taking care of me was rather large. And I said, hey, any of you girls in here drink coffee? And they said, yeah, I drink coffee. Well, one was real skinny. I didn't really care about her. And this one said, yeah, I drink coffee. And I said, well, you know what? You never believe it. Our company just launched a weight loss coffee. She said, where in the world can I get that? Where in the world can I get that? I said, it just so happens I've got a card right here, and it's got my website, my email, my phone number, and everything on it. Go take a look at everything, and if you got a question, call me. And so that's the conversation that I have pretty much with everybody. And then, it's just a matter of starting to follow up, right? Follow up. Make sure your prospects get engaged in things. Make sure that they see the Facebook testimonials. So go there and have them. That thing is constantly updated with new stuff. So I just encourage everybody to get over there. Ask them if they're interested in making money, right? I always say, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-enroll you. Valentus does something very special. They have a referral system, right? They pay us for spreading the word rather than advertising, rather than having their products in a store. They pay us for spreading the word. And, if you buy product, I get paid, right? If somebody you introduce to the product, they buy product, you get paid, and I get paid. So it's a win-win-win situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enroll you in the free referral program, right in your back office, right in the pre-enrollment landing pages. I'm going to take their name, their phone number, their email address, and plug them right into the system. And then I tell them, hey, you're going to get an email from Valentus. Go in and take a look at everything. But when you get that, call me, and then I'll kind of walk you through everything. So I just want, again, I want to get them engaged in the whole thing, starting to think about, you know, making money. I know they're going to get results from the product. Like I've said many, many, many times before, in my 30 years in this industry, I've never had a product that works as effectively, as quickly on almost everybody that I've ever introduced it to. And, you know, it's kind of a, you know, they're at a decision point, right? They can either become a customer, they can become a distributor, or they can remain fat. That's it. The ones that say yes, you know, you should put on the phone with somebody. I can't emphasize enough how important that connection is, right? That three-way connection is. The person that you've just introduced to Valentus may have known you your entire life. They've known all the stupid things you've done. They've known all of everything, you know, that they've followed you, right, since you were a kid. And, you know, that's sometimes a blessing, sometimes a curse. But they need to hear that, your friend needs to hear from somebody else that you work with. So, you know, make sure you've got phone numbers, and you can go right to your website in your back office and click on My Enroller, and you can see who your upline is, right? Their email address, their phone numbers. So don't hesitate. Don't, you know, I don't want to bother anybody. You know, guys, that's how I thought. That's how I thought 30 years ago, is that I didn't want to bother anybody. I didn't really understand the business. And so I didn't want to be a burden to anybody and call them and, you know, do all of those things. When I found out how important that step was, I never missed the step after that, right? So I'm going to encourage you to use your upline to bring them into the loop. If I'm part of your upline, you call me, call Rick, call John, you know, I mean, text us and just say, hey, I got a call, or you know what, and you know, Mitch is always a great teacher of the three-way call, because he does it very, he's very sly. Let me just put it that way. When he does a three-way call, he doesn't sit on the phone with his friend. Hey, David, you know, let me connect Chuck on here and, you know, let him talk to you. Well, Chuck is, you know, usually the big closer, right? And so David is going to say, hey, you know, let's not bring Chuck on. You know, let's just you and I talk. You know, what Mitch will do, and what I'm suggesting everybody do, is just tell your prospect that you're talking to, hey, hold on a second, I gotta grab this other line, right? I gotta grab this other line. Happens all the time. And when you put him on hold, dial me in, right? Dial one of us, dial Rick in, dial John in, dial me in, dial your sponsor, dial somebody in, and once you get one of us, just come back on and, you know, merge us all together and just say, hey, David, you know, you never guess who that was on the other line. I got Chuck Hansen on the line here with me. He just called to ask how things were going. And since he called, I thought I would get you introduced. So what can David say at that point except hello, right? I mean, David is there. So, and you're on the phone, we're all three on the phone talking, and, you know, and my conversation is very short usually with people. You know, I ask them what they liked best about Valentus, what they liked best about, you know, the sample of the product. You know, I like to get them moving their head, right? Moving their head in an up and down motion. You know, I like this about the product. I like that about the product. I like this about Valentus. And, you know, start to kind of feel them out. I ask them, you know, how much experience they've ever had in network marketing. A lot of them say none, and that's great. That's great. I just go, you know what, that's perfect. You don't need to have any experience in order to do this. So, you know, you're at the right place at the right time. And then I tell the timing story, right? I tell my story a little bit. And then I just say, hey, you know, the best way to get started, I'm sure that you were told that the business builder package, $499 and $129 a month, you know, that's the business, right? That is the business model. So, you know, if that's something you can do, you know, what's to keep you from getting started today, you know? And if there's any hesitation, I always say, well, you know, if it were free, would you get started? And they go, yeah, well, if it was free, I'd get started. Well, it's not free. It's not free. It's $499. How do you want to pay for it? You know, want to pay for it on a credit card, or, you know, and you just have to move through. I mean, you know, in this world, very few things are free. So, and then you got to sit there and help them order their business builder pack and then take them through the back office. You've got to learn how to become the guide, right? You got to take that person by the hand and walk them through all the things that you were walked through. And if you weren't walked through, then shame on your enroller for not doing that. And if I'm your enroller, shame on me. No, I try to do that as much as I can. So you know, help them do all of those things and get them engaged. And then step 10, duplicate steps 1 through 10. Right? I mean, it's just a process of going through and going through and going through and going through and continuing to go through that, you know, until you find, you know, those few people. And you only need, you know, I talk about it all the time, start with the end, E-N-D, in mind, right? Start with the end in mind. What do I mean? I mean, if it takes 4 diamonds to get to the top rank of the compensation plan, guess what? You got to sponsor at least 4 people. And they better be diamond quality people. Otherwise, you're going to have to sponsor more. So you got to personally sponsor people in order to make this business work. For some reason, and I don't know why it is, some people get in, buy their business builder pack, and then they forget to sponsor. You know, they just don't go through the process, or they give all their samples away and they don't know, you know, whatever happened. Well, they're not following the process. That's what's happening. Rick made up this slide, and you know, it's a great representation of exactly what you need to do. That's you at the top, right? You're a Ruby, $129 a month, like I said. And I never disguise that or anything. I tell them right up front that this is $500 to get in. It's $129 a month to remain active and continue to build your unlimited income global distribution business, right? I mean, where can you get into a business for that kind of money? You can't. First person, right? I teach people, and we teach people, that the first person goes on your enroller's leg. So as you see, uplines, enroller's leg. So put the first person over there, come back to your rotator, then after your first person is there, and set it to your leg, the leg that you're going to be power lining down, and put in your second person, put in your third person. Try to put those 3 people in just as quickly as possible. You know, if you can do them all in 1 month, right, that 30, and really, guys, you know, it's not much of a stretch to do 3 people with an incredible product that we have in a 30-day period of time. I mean, we're not talking about working, you know, 10, 12 hours a day for a month in order to get that done. But there's, you know, that's the first step, right? You're going to get your money back. You're going to be playing with house money. You're going to have your money back. I wish that I could have done that when I got into this industry 30 years ago. I wrote a check for 35 grand, right? 35 grand worth of water filters. And I don't know if you guys know how many water filters that is. That's a bunch of them. They come in a truck, a big truck, right? And so there wasn't any way on God's green earth I was going to have a truck backed up to my garage and fill up my garage with water filters, because I told my wife that I gave her my word when I joined this industry that I wouldn't spend any money. And it was a long time until she discovered that I, in fact, did spend some money. But I had all those water filters delivered to a friend of mine's house. So that's where they stayed. And I tried to get rid of them as quickly as possible so I could get that 35 grand back in the bank before she got wind of it. And luckily I did that. But, this is the kind of the steps. I mean, this is a very, very simple, very duplicatable business. It's not, I think some people make it a lot more difficult than it is. So just take a breath, start dialing up your friends that you've been talking to forever and just say, hey, Bobby, you got to hear what's going on. I got something and I got to talk to you. I mean, we've always talked about wanting to get into business and make money together. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a problem in this country. It's the business model. The business model that everybody has been taught has not worked and is not working. People go through their life making $1.4 million for their entire life, right? $1.4 million for their entire life. And that averages out to about $17.50 an hour. That's a challenge. That's why people can't retire with millions of dollars in the bank. When I talked to Rick Geralds last May, I asked him, I said, Rick, how's that Valentus thing going for you? He said, well, I've been here, it'll be 4 years this July. And he said, oh, by the way, I've made $1.4 million. Well, isn't that strange? Here I know that the average person, they only earn $1.4 million in their lifetime. And Rick had earned $1.4 million in the last 4 years as the company was going through its startup phase, right? The startup phase. And now he's probably at close to 2 million. Maybe could be over that by now. But so, hey guys, that's what I wanted to share with you here this evening. I hope that you got a few nuggets from all of that. I'll get this uploaded into YouTube and get it off to everybody who couldn't get here live. So what I'm going to do right now is stop to share. We'll come back to this. I'll shut off that recording.